What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning into this new video on Elvis is the Man. So it's kind of fitting that I'm really getting into the book Child Bride as the movie Priscilla is in theaters, and after she did that weird interview with Piers Morgan. If you haven't seen my review, check it out. So this is my review of part 1 of Child Bride, the first 25% of it. It's a great read. Here's my thoughts and the gist of it up until this point.
Thank you very much.
So this book is an interesting one. There are many tidbits of info here that I think you would all enjoy hearing, but I'll stick to the high points to paint the story of the first meetings of Priscilla and Elvis, and leave the other nuggets of info for you to find out when you buy the book. So this book is the answer to the Elvis and Me memoir by Priscilla. It casts doubt on her story and recollection of events as she tells it. All the points of view and alternative facts, I will say, seem very rational. And this is definitely a must-read for Elvis fans who want a more well-rounded view of Elvis and Priscilla's relationship, or lack thereof. The major players in the first quarter of this book is Curry Grant, who was a first-class airman from Louisiana and a part-time manager at the Eagles Club in Germany, where he first met Priscilla and eventually introduces to Elvis. So we have Priscilla, Curry, and of course Elvis. As the story goes in Child Bride, Curry, who is in his 20s, was extremely attracted to a very young Priscilla who is 14. It's Curry who pursues Priscilla and tries to have a fling with her on the side. Grant is also married with a couple girls, keep in mind. Now, Priscilla soon finds out that Curry visits Elvis regularly in Germany. And according to Curry, Priscilla comes weekly to the Eagles Club, pestering him to take her to see Elvis. Curry couldn't be bothered with that, as he was only interested in Priscilla, as bad and immoral as that may sound. Now, this contradicts Priscilla's story in her book, where she states that she wasn't actively pursuing Elvis or pursuing to see Elvis. This book, Child Bride, is like the antidote to Elvis and Me. During this book, the author shares the transcript to the meeting Priscilla and Curry actually had many years later in 1996, where they meet face to face and challenge each other on the facts of their testimonies of how these events actually occurred. One is that Priscilla was a virgin until she married Elvis in 1967. According to Curry, Priscilla wanted desperately to meet Elvis, and Curry, by his own admission, went so far as having sex with her before finally agreeing to take her to be introduced to Elvis. It was partly due to Priscilla's determination to do whatever she had to do to meet Elvis, and Curry taking advantage of the situation. I think by this time you can see that the actions of these two are very outrageous, and Priscilla is not the sweet virgin girl that she led everyone on to believe. Now, I will say Priscilla vehemently denies these allegations and actually says that Curry attempted to rape her. And I want to say that on YouTube. So, how did they even get to that point, you ask? So, remember, Curry is in the Air Force. He is a part-time member at the Eagles Club, part-time manager actually. Priscilla frequents that club because she knows Curry knows Elvis and wants to meet Elvis very bad. So Priscilla actively seeks to change Curry's mind about taking her to see Elvis, and Curry at the same time is very attracted to a young Priscilla and will take advantage of that situation. So, according to Curry, it was Priscilla's idea to have him and his wife Carol pick her up and take her to the movies. Only that's what she told her parents. And Curry would tell his wife that he had to work late, so Curry would just be there to pick Priscilla up from her parents' house, and they'd go off to the hills. Now, Priscilla's account of the story was that he attempted to R her, you know what I'm saying, and Priscilla managed to blare the horn and Curry backed off after he saw a person's house lights turn on. So, why is all this even relative to the story? Because Priscilla later finds out after meeting Elvis that Elvis would only marry a virgin. So, according to Curry, Priscilla had to maintain her version of the story that Curry attempted to take advantage of her. Curry says that this is why she maintains her side of the story, and also says that she told Elvis about his friend Curry and what had supposedly or allegedly happened in the hills, and that Elvis was so mad that he banished Curry from coming back to his house. Now, Curry says that the whole attempted situation was a story made up by her to cover what she actually did to see Elvis and to keep him away from Elvis so he wouldn't spill the beans and ruin her being with Elvis forever. Because once Priscilla thought, according to Curry, once Elvis found out that Priscilla wasn't a virgin, then he would be turned off. Curry would also prep Priscilla after she finally gave it up to him, and he decided to let Priscilla meet Elvis because Curry was Priscilla's transportation from her parents' house to Elvis's house. He prepped her on what to say, what Elvis likes, what Elvis doesn't like. This is how you carry yourself. So they were both using each other to get what they wanted, according to the story. So like I said, Curry, and I hope that I'm pronouncing this right, his name's Currie, Curry Grant, says that this was all made up and that he was even asked by Elvis to drive him and Priscilla and a few others to the bus station to see him off when he finished his 2-year stint in the army. So it couldn't have been true. And that the media was there taking pictures of the whole thing to prove it. So this is where the book pokes holes in Priscilla's story, here and in many other parts. This is basically what this whole book is about. So if you're a Priscilla hater, or at least want a more well-rounded view of the whole story other than what you've been taught, you should definitely check out this book. So getting back to the actual story itself, Curry said his wife and him would pick up Priscilla and from her mom and dad's, and that 2 to 4 times a week they would take her to see Elvis. So what did her and Elvis do when she got there? Mainly, she hung out with Elvis and his small crew, and eventually they'd go up to Elvis's room privately. Curry says on the way home, if his wife wasn't there, he'd press the 14-year-old Priscilla to spill the beans, so to speak, and tell him what actually happened when they were alone. Curry says Priscilla admits that they were having intercourse by the 3rd or 4th meeting. Elvis told the guys that he did everything but that, and it's funny because in this book, the author mentions that even Mike Edwards, Priscilla's ex, and Mike Stone personally feel that they did, but they claim that Priscilla never actually admitted it to them.
All right, guys, so I don't want you to come away from this video thinking it's some weird perverted like sex book, because it's everything but that. But it basically dispels and casts doubt on the story that Priscilla has told everyone. That, you know, she was a virgin up until her wedding day in '67, that she was head over heels for Elvis, and that all she did when Elvis was gone was just thought of him and write letters and crinkle them up and rewrite them, and just she couldn't eat or sleep. You know, even the author says that Curry says, because a lot of this is from Curry's perspective, that even her teacher in Germany didn't notice her being depressed or despondent. She was actually dating multiple guys, according to this book, and having sex with them. So it wasn't like she was, you know, kept herself pure, because Elvis said to Priscilla, which startled her, according to this book, he said, "Keep yourself pure, because I'll know if you haven't." So basically, it just casts a lot of doubt on everything Priscilla said. It talks about how Priscilla's dad, Paul, was not really her dad. So many things in this book. She finds this out when she was like 13, 14. Basically, that Priscilla was very conniving, very, like, she knew what she wanted. She would be this like 14-year-old teeny bopper girl, and then around Elvis she'd magically somehow change into this mature type grown up, pretty much, one that could be in Elvis's circle. It really just shows Priscilla in a different light. And so this isn't to basically, if you don't like Priscilla, you'll love this book. If you do really like Priscilla, you probably won't like this book, but I recommend it because it'll really give you another side of the story. So I'm about a quarter of the way through this book. I look forward to the rest of it, so stay tuned. Within the next few weeks, I'll have part 2 out. And so talk to me in the comments. Tell me what you like. If you have any questions, because it's like there's so much in this first part that I know I'm leaving so many things out, but it's hard to pack in everything. But these are the main points. But you got to get it for yourself and really really form your own opinions too. But anyway, hit the like button. Helps you grow and expand the channel. Talk to me in the comments.